Well, look, folks, it's great that we can actually hear ourselves think tonight for a change. Well, surprised to see any of them there, to tell you the truth. But anyway, so just yesterday, well, first of all, we talk about the orphanage, okay? Because at the end of the day, there is absolutely no risk assessment now anymore. And it is absolutely crazy that the planning laws have been changed, that an iPass can be in any single building. It can be in any building with absolutely no planning permission whatsoever. It makes an actual joke out of the planning laws that we've had to adhere to all these years. Now, there's 260 alleged Ukrainians going into that building. They will probably be taking Ukrainians from all over Ireland, just so that we see a few Ukrainian-looking faces going in. But as we know in Rosscray, they brought in some Ukrainians. The Ukrainians came out to the people and told us we didn't want to come here. There were Ukrainians that had been settled in Dublin. Their children were all in school. Everything was fine. But they were manipulated by the Irish government to try to throw people off the scent, to try to lie to people. And of course they sent in a few of these Ukrainians, and the rest were all Africans and Middle Easterns and all the other fake economic asylum seekers who have come here from France and from the UK. Now, St Vincent's has a specialised autism unit, and those children are very susceptible to, you know, my own son is autistic. He's very gullible, he's very easily led. And I think if I had an autistic child at St Vincent's, I would be really scared, you know, because there is not much of a barrier. We believe that there's only a fence in between the playground of the orphanage and the school. And it's just not good enough. And it's just not good enough for child protection reasons to be moving 260, whoever they are, wherever they're from, into a building like that. It's absolutely crazy.
I'm proud to be here in front of this statue, the Maid of Erin, which commemorates people who fought for Irish independence, who stood at the Battle of Vinegar Hill in 1798, armed with little more than spears in their hands. Can you imagine it? And those spears were called pikes. And there was 20,000 of those men. And they faced 10,000 British soldiers armed with rifles and cannons. And they stood there. And if they can stand there, then I can stand here. And you can stand here. I am not a racist. I am not a fascist. I am not far right. I am a husband. I am a son. I am a brother. I am a neighbour. I am your friend. You are my friend. I am an Irishman, and I am proud to be here. Are you proud to be here? They use the term racism, fascism, being far right, and all these other terms to beat us down, as though they were walking sticks and pole axes, to beat us into the ground, to beat us into silence. But I will not be silent. Will you be silent? No! Will anybody watching this be silent? No! I have nothing against anybody's colour of skin, their religion, their sexuality. I do not care where you are from. All I care is, are you a good person? Are you a good person like I am a good person? Like my family are good people? That's all I care about. Is that all you care about? Yes. We have a huge problem in Ireland today. A huge problem. We have a totally uncontrolled flood of immigration into this country today. Do you know how many people come into Ireland from the start of 2024 up until April 2024? I'll tell you now how many come in. 147,000 people. I am not saying that. The Central Statistics Office of Ireland is saying that. And in the 3 years preceding that, over 100,000 people came in each year before that. And before I go on, the Garda Síochána who are listening to me now, I believe that they will agree with everything that I am saying, because they are Irish people. They are fathers, they are sons, they are daughters, they have families. They have connections with Ireland. They have connections with whatever town they are from. My people are from Dundalk, from back hundreds of years. I have a connection with this soil. This is my country, and I am willing to share it with some people. I am not against immigration into this country. I am against uncontrolled immigration into this country. Right? And by standing here today, that does not make me an extremist of any sort. I have friends who are not Irish. I have relations who are cousins of mine married non-Irish people. I don't care where you are from. It is a crazy policy to open the doors of Ireland to the world.
Hello everybody. When I listen to all the speakers, I think I'm just speaking on behalf of an old age pensioner. But I read what I wrote. Ladies and gentlemen, why are we here today? Dundalk says no to mass migration. The leaders of Ireland have opted into mass migration. The people of Ireland were not asked. This decision was made by our current leaders without giving a referendum to the Irish people. As a member of the EU, we are losing our Irish sovereignty and our independence as a nation. We soon will be a minority in our own country in a very short time. The Irish birth rate is plummeting. We are now at 1.17 compared to all the foreign nationals' birth rate that are coming to Ireland. We are having a brain drain, and our young college graduates are leaving the country because they can't see a future here in Ireland. Because of the direction the country is going in, there are no incentives for young people to stay in Ireland. Inflation is at a high. Young people can't afford rent or mortgages. There is a housing crisis, and the government keep letting thousands of young, unvetted, military-aged men in from foreign countries, and they are housing them before the Irish. They are closing down old people's homes and hotels all around the country, all to accommodate these asylum seekers or economic migrants. Tourism has been affected. Ireland always depended on tourism. Public services are suffering. Schools are overcrowded. Hospitals just can't cope. Hospital waiting lists are getting longer. GP and dental services are all under pressure. Our highly trained doctors and nurses are emigrating because of low wages and the cost of living.
How is everybody? Well done for coming out tonight in that lovely Irish rain. It's about all we have left of Ireland with the way the government are getting on. It says tonight when I came here that I wasn't going to stand screaming and shouting and venting my anger about the government, because we all know what they are. Yeah, it's there in plain sight that, you know, they don't work for the people. The money's so great, they've lost the running themselves. But yesterday I was making some phone calls and some inquiries, in particular about St. Vincent's School. Now, although St. Vincent's School is an issue, guys, all over Dundalk, there's loads of other building that's also being planted that we need to focus on. But I was ringing up about the school, so I was, and I rang the school and I talked to a girl called Fiona Butler. They says that she was the child first officer for the school. And I was asking her about, you know, what was the story with these people that were going to go on the grounds of a school that had been through traumatic pasts, who were supposed to be fleeing war-torn countries and maybe coming from countries of different belief systems to us, and the fact that, we don't know anything about them. Would it be safe for our children on the grounds of the school? And she tried to tell me that really, it's not up to the school, that they don't own the building. I said, well, that's okay, but if it was a heroin treatment facility, would the school agree with that? And she didn't really want to talk about it, so she didn't. So she says it was nothing got to do with them, it was Louth County Council. So I rang Louth County Council, and they put me through to they were trying to put me through to Akira Bourne. He was supposed to be the guy who was dealing with this, who was supposed to be releasing this statement, some public statement, stating that it was Ukrainians that was going to be housed here. And Louth County Council, Robbie wasn't there, I think his name was Robbie Bourne, he wasn't there. So they put me through to a girl called Selena. And I asked her, when they say Ukrainians, do they mean Ukrainian families? Do they mean Ukrainian men? Do they mean children, single men, single women? What do they mean? And she says, well, they mean Ukrainians. What does it matter? What does it matter? Well, it matters because Brendan here, who was speaking before us, who's a school teacher, I'm sure he had to be Garda vet to work with children. And yet, we're going to bring people who we know who have had traumatic experiences, who we know if they're fleeing war-torn countries, allegedly, that they've been through horrible things. We know some of their cultures mightn't be the same as ours and belief systems, and we're going to put them on the grounds of a school. Roger O'Gorman is the Minister for Children, he's the Minister for Disabilities, and he's the Minister for Integration. There is a conflict of interest here, because if the Minister for Children was a different minister than the Minister for Integration, surely the Minister for Children would be saying, well, hold on, I don't care about a statutory instrument that the Minister for the Environment purportedly brought through to get around the planning permission. We have a dark history in Ireland when it comes to child protection and child abuse at the hands of the state. People were sent there to the church to be abused. By the state they were sent there, by the courts, who were being run on behalf of the Irish state, or the British state really, because that's where we were being run from. But the Minister for Children would have to stand up and say, a school is not a suitable place to put people like this. Child first legislation, we cannot put people that we don't know about on the grounds of a girls' school. And he's not doing that. He's not doing that. And yes, it's serious stuff, guys. These are our children we're talking about. When I got involved in activism 25 years ago, I had got involved in activism, and what we were doing then was we were fighting to improve what our forefathers had fought for, right? To improve it and make it a wee bit better. Thanks to them, we had got something brilliant. Now, I had left activism and I come back because of my children. And now, we're fighting to get back what we had years ago. The government are dismantling our children's future in front of our eyes, and we're standing back allowing it. We're standing back allowing it. They talk about 4,100 children homeless in Ireland at the moment. Children first. The Minister, even more over than me, and his responsibilities to me as a person with a disability or a migrant, the responsibility to children comes first. There's 4,100 children homeless in Ireland at the moment. Why can't we house them? Because we don't have the money. Roderick, you're holding a big property portfolio. You're holding a big checkbook. Cop on. Child first.
Going.
Hello everyone, Dia Gweth, may God be with you all. I won't keep you long because I know you're probably all tired and wet now. I had a big speech prepared in my head, but it probably won't come out that way. But I think Brendan basically said it all already. But I just want to speak a few things here today that have been playing through my mind around all this. Like I was just thinking back to 25 years ago. I'm a Kilkenny woman originally, and 25, go Kilkenny. And I've lived in Dundalk. Brendan's my wife, that's how I ended up here. Or Brendan's my husband, you're my wife. Fuck knows these days, they could go anyway, maybe he is. But anyway, I remember going when I was like in my early 20s to help Syrian refugees at the time who had just come into the country and they needed friends, and we used to go a couple of times a week and sit and have tea with them and all of this. And I would have always grown up considering myself a very left-wing type of person, very liberal, very open. And now that word has become so scandalised. You know, this language that we're using to divide each other has become so weaponised. It's completely out of control. And we need to get rid of all this language. We need to get rid of them and us, him and her, right and left, all this language is being used to keep us apart. How childish is it that in this day and age, people are standing on either side of the road when we should be working together to sort the problems of our country out? We should be sitting down together in rooms, discussing things, having meetings, writing memos, making documents, planning, looking at what the practical solutions to these things are, together as communities. And when I say community, I just don't mean the Irish, I mean the other settled people in this country from all over the world. Because I have friends from all over the world. I have friends who've been settled here 10, 20 years. And they have families here too, and they have children here in schools, and they're scared. They don't feel that their children are safe with all these unvetted immigrants walking around our country either. So and although we have a right to our own country, I, like Brendan and like many of you here today, I can't speak for everybody, I'm not against immigration, but I am seriously against mass, uncontrolled immigration into this country. A metaphor that I've been playing through my mind recently that I think is a good way to explain it. I always liken how a country is run to how a family is run. So a healthy, functioning family, the nuclear family, should be a microcosm of what a country should look like when it's run properly. And I think when you want to ask yourself if a country is functioning, you should always ask yourself, well, how would that look like if it was run that way in a family? So just say, for example, I have 2 children. And I decide with my husband, we have a little bit more money to spare. We can adopt a child. And we do adopt a child, and we love that child, and we mind all our children equally, and we feed them and we clothe them. And then everyone's going, oh, aren't you brilliant, you adopted a child, you're so nice. And the government runs some incentive where you get 10 grand to adopt another child. And we say, oh yeah, we'll adopt another. And then we'll adopt another, and we'll adopt another. And after a couple of years, we have 6 children. But no longer can we afford to look after our own 2 children. And the government are watching us because we have these other 4 children that are being monitored because they're adopted children. So we put our own children sleeping in tents in the back garden. We can't produce medical care for them anymore. Would you agree that if I decided I had adopted enough children, I couldn't afford to look after any more children, that would make me a child hater? Would that make me a child hater? Absolutely not. That is what we're being told. We're being told that we are haters of other cultures and other people because we see that the infrastructure of our country is under extreme stress, that young women are being raped, that young men are being attacked, that our streets have become more dangerous, that there's more violence in our country than there ever has been before. I'm not naive enough to say that everywhere in the world was always safe, but in general there is no doubt that the crime levels in our country has escalated dramatically. And we have a right to defend our children and our citizens, and that does not make us haters of anybody. Because I swear to God, I stand here in nothing but pure love, and all I want is that everyone in the world be safe, and everyone be happy, and everyone be housed, and everyone be sheltered. But I cannot save everyone, and neither can Ireland. It's not our responsibility to save the whole world.
Irish families have been on the waiting list for council housing for 10 to 12 years. There's 14,000 Irish citizens homeless on the streets. And we have lost one of the Irish patriots recently who died alone, homeless, with no help. May they rest in peace, David Murphy from Dundalk. He will never be forgotten. Why are the Irish not being put first in their own country? Irish lives matter.
The country the town that I grew up in, and the country of Ireland that I grew up in is totally transformed. When I was a young man growing up in Dundalk, you could go out, you could go to disco, you could fall out of the pub, you could walk home safe. You cannot do that anymore in Dundalk. The town that I grew up in, and all the towns and villages of Ireland, it was safe for a woman to walk around. It is unsafe now. Yeah? Let's call a spade a spade. Let's say the truth, because it is the truth that is feared. And that is why we are branded racist. That is why we are branded far right and fascist, because the truth is what hurts. And the Irish government don't want the truth. We have a pandemic starting, and it is not being reported in the media. What is being reported is a fraction, and it is rapes and sexual assaults that is happening all over Ireland today, that has happened in Dundalk, right? And this has been happening because we are letting in thousands upon thousands of unvetted men from countries in which women are treated as second-class citizens. That is the truth, and I will not be silenced. I will not be silenced. As I said, I work as a teacher. 80% of the Irish population agree with what I am saying. I have not met one person in the last year who has disagreed in any way with anything I have to say. I am not far right or fascist, and they are not far right or fascist. But then the question is, where are they now? Why is it just us here now? Well, for many reasons. Lots of people are lazy. Lots of people want you to fix the problem. Yes? People are afraid of losing their jobs. Well, I'm saying to you now, if I can stand here as a teacher and put my neck in the block, you can get up your arse and put your neck in the block.
Folks, there's been some amazing speakers here. There's no need for me to go on with a speech. There's a bit of work to be done, folks. Unbeknownst to most of us, over the last few weeks, Dundalk Says No Planning Committee have been meeting at least twice a week, doing a lot of work. There's 10,000 pamphlets coming with information on both sides, excellent pamphlets. We need a team to get those pamphlets out to every house in Dundalk and its environs. I want you to take your phones out of your pocket now, get Dundalk Says No up on Facebook or whatever it is, and say, I'm in. We'll contact you back. Next week we need to get busy, because protests are not the only way we're going to win this. We have 3 leaflet pamphlet dropping campaigns coming in the next month. We've got public meetings to announce. We're going to take this town. Those custies over there with their masks, 2 of them were arrested down there trying to attack us when we started to march. We are clearly winning. They were talking about fascism earlier. The main core belief of fascism is this: the winner is the strongest, the mightiest. In other words, bullies. Bullies. And that's what they are. We actually kicked their ass tonight. We were able to come here tonight, outnumber them, and have our speeches. We're coming back. It may not be next